If you're pregnant, you need to find out that you are able to access medical care. So for most schools, even when I said that in Ontario, international students don't have access to the provincial health insurance plan here. The provincial health insurance plan will allow you to see like doctors, allow you to use the hospital without paying. So most other schools would have that as well. Now, you, the student, you now need to find out this school that I'm going to, what medical insurance do they have? And if you are coming with other children, so your other children, you can add them under your plan for a token, for a little fee. You add your children, your spouse, you can add, all of you can add under your plan. And you just pay a little bit more, but everybody is okay. So again, this is one thing that you need to find out with your school or with the province. This province that I'm going to, are students able to access the universal health care? If the answer is yes, good and fine. If not, if the answer is no, now dig further. Does the university provide any health insurance plan for students? So these are things that you need to find out, just so that you don't go there and somebody is sick and you are paying out of pocket. It's expensive. Okay? So now let's take questions here. Is Guelph, Ontario good for family? Yes, Guelph is a good place. Guelph is not even far from me. It's like 30 minutes. It's a good place. Can I travel with my little niece as mine if I get court order for an in-house adoption? Before you can travel with any child as yours, you need to either be the parent and prove that using the birth certificate, or you need to be the parent by adoption. You have to prove it using adoption papers. Anything else would not fly. So you're traveling with a child, you have to either have the birth certificate that shows that you are the parent, or you have adoption papers that shows that this adoption has been done. So that's what you can do. These are things that you will have to look out for. Is London, Ontario good for myself? And how will I know the health plan for myself and my family? Like I said, you have to research that. So research is a skill that you need to develop. Find out what health plan London has. Find out from the school. You have to research. Ask the school. You have to do that research. When do you apply for your family after getting admission? So when to apply for your family depends. There are things that they look out for when you're applying for visas for your family, right? But the two important things are proof of home ties and proof of funds. So when to apply for your family, it depends on the individual. It's based on the individual. There is no one case fits all, right? When to apply, it depends on the individual. You need to show proof of home ties and proof of funds for your family. So that's a question that the individual can answer. If the husband is a sponsor, can we all relocate together as a family? Of course, you can relocate together as a family if your husband is a sponsor. Can an elder child who is 13 years old stay at home with the younger one after school? Yes, it depends on the province. In most provinces or in most countries, 13 years old can. In some places, 13 years old cannot. So you need to find out this place that you are going to, what is the age that children can be left at home alone. So if there's a 13-year-old, the 13-year-old can now watch their younger ones and it's okay. So let's say you have one that's 13 and one that is 6, one that is 4. You can leave those ones with the 13-year-old and that's fine. Yeah. I have admission in 3 provinces: Alberta, Saskatchewan, Prince George, BC. Which of the 3 provinces will you recommend? Really, I don't know. I don't have your information. I just cannot recommend any province, right? So all of these provinces are good. At the end of the day, it depends on what you are looking for. As an international student, you are going to some provinces you want to study. If you have options like this, you should not be asking yourself certain questions. Does this province have provincial nomination pathway for international students to become permanent residents? What is the cost of living in these provinces? How much is the tuition fee in these provinces? Are there job opportunities in these provinces? So these are some certain questions. There's certain questions that you need to ask yourself. And again, it depends on your personal profile as well. What's your age? Your age too would matter. It depends on your personal profile. That's what you would use to check these provinces and what is important to you as a person. But all these provinces, are they good? Of course they are good. Even within Ontario, like I said, Toronto is expensive. It's not the whole of Ontario. Toronto is in Ontario, just one city in Ontario. It's not the whole of Ontario that is expensive. Some people say Ontario is expensive. I agree. Generally, Ontario is expensive, but there are some cities that are very expensive and some cities are just okay, right? So even in these provinces, I don't know where you're going. Can I come with my mother to Canada? You can come with your mother as a visitor. Your mother cannot apply with you as a dependent. However, you can invite her to come as a visitor, so she will get a visit visa, and she can only stay with you for 6 months at a time. It means that every 6 months she has to leave the country. But is it possible for you to invite your mother to come and stay with you while you are going to school? Yes, it's possible. Can I travel with my younger brother? We have the same family name. You travel with your younger brother as what? As your dependent? No, even if you have the same family name. So you guys don't. When I say, let me tell you what makes somebody your dependent. If you claim that somebody is your dependent, you now need to show proof. When it comes to immigration, your dependent is your spouse and your children. That's your dependent. And dependent does not mean, because some men, when they hear the word dependent, say, no, I'm not my wife dependent. Dependent does not mean that the person is sponsoring you or the person is feeding you. No. When it comes to immigration, dependent is somebody that comes under your visa. So it means that this person has a visa because you have a visa. Let me give you an example. So let's say Ada is a woman. She's going to school. Ada is a student. Ada's husband, Okeke, will now apply. Ada's husband, Okeke, will come as Ada's dependent. It does not mean that Ada is feeding Okeke, no. Even if Okeke is the sponsor. But it's called her dependent because the reason why Okeke has a work permit is because Ada has a visa. If they cancel Ada's visa today, Okeke's work permit is cancelled. So that's what it means by dependent. Your visa is dependent on another person's visa. If Ada's visa expires today, Okeke's visa will expire today. So that's how it works when it comes to dependent visa. Now, who can be your dependent? Your spouse and your children. Children by birth or by adoption. Any other person, it's not because of surname. What is the proof that somebody is your spouse? Your husband or your spouse is husband or wife. What is the proof? Is that you have a marriage certificate. What is the proof that a child is your child? Because some people, they don't bear the same name as their children, right? Maybe the woman did not change her name. So her children have their dad's last name. She has her own father's last name. But she can apply for those people as her children. Why? Because her name is on their birth certificate. So how do you prove that children are yours? Is by their birth certificate or their adoption papers. So now, it's precious. Do you think that you can travel with your brother because you have the same name? You cannot, because are you going to provide a birth certificate for your brother? Except you can do that, I don't know. But you cannot, it's your brother. But can your brother come as a visitor? Yes, you can invite him to come as a visitor, and he will only stay for 6 months at a time. So that's how it works. Is it possible for a pregnant woman to apply for student visa in Canada? Yes, it's very possible. The challenge that most people have is that with pregnancy, you have to go and do x-ray. You cannot do x-ray with pregnancy. However, these days, most of these clinics, they have something they call x-ray shield that they will use to protect your stomach, and you do x-ray. So yes, if you are pregnant, you can apply for visit visa. If you are pregnant and you have gotten your visa, you can still come into the country. It's not a problem. If your program is 8 months program with postgraduate work permits, what do you need to do to extend your stay after your program? Is it possible to apply for another program? Mark Pride 237. This is a very good question. Yes, it's possible. So if you have gotten an 8-month program, take it. Some people will say, oh, because the program is up to 2 years, take it. When you start that program, you can now apply for another 8-month program. In fact, most of these colleges in Canada, they know that international students need program that is more than 1 year. before you even complete that program, only the school will offer you admission to say, oh, Zino, congratulations, we have offered you admission for a second program. Most of the schools will do that. So if you have gotten 8-month program, do another 8-month program. So you do 2 8-month programs to qualify you for 3 years postgraduate work permits. Is my explanation clear? How many months pregnancy is too late for a school to accept a pregnant student? No school will discriminate against you because you are pregnant. No pregnancy is too late for the school to accept you. You're pregnant, apply. When my friend went to school when she was pregnant, she was in the early stages of her pregnancy. While she was in the school, that's when she gave birth. I think she took like 2 weeks to recover, nurse the baby. Anyway, she was still nursing the baby. But her mother came as a visitor before the baby was born. So her mother was there to help her. So she was able to go back to school because then she was schooling in the US and she was a GA. So for her to keep getting paid as a GA and keep getting a tuition waiver, she could not take time off. Me, I'm able to take maternity leave because my scholarship, part of the terms of my scholarship includes maternity leave, that you can take 1 year maternity leave and you will still get paid and you will still hold your scholarship. Some scholarships don't consider maternity leave. So if you go on maternity leave, you will lose your scholarship. So many times, most students, when they give birth, they have to go back to school immediately. So in this case, what you can do is that you bring your family member as a visitor and they can come and support you. So that's what you can do in that case. Or if you have family member here, they can also help you so that you can fulfill the requirements of your school, right? So there's no pregnancy that is too late. No, in fact, how will the school even know they are pregnant when you're applying for admission? At school doesn't even have any business with whether you're pregnant or not. How would they even know? Is there anywhere where they will ask you, are you pregnant? No, they don't do that. Okay? After tuition is paid, can one still get scholarship? Another good question. It's possible. So, but then it depends on when you got in your scholarship. So if you have paid your tuition for this term and you now come and you get a scholarship, maybe your scholarship will start from the next term, right? So it means that going forward, you will not pay school fees again. Or if you get scholarship for that term, maybe, and you have already paid school fees, the scholarship money, they will just pay it into your bank account. So it's possible that you can get scholarship after tuition, and it depends on how you are paying your tuition. In Canada, you pay tuition per term, right? So it means that when you pay for this term, you still have future terms to pay. What some people do here, this is another secret that I'm sharing with you people. What some people do here in Canada is that sometimes if people are not able to get into research-based programs from their home country, I'm thinking, should I tell them this or not? Should I tell them or not tell them? Okay. So sometimes some people are not able to get into research programs. You know, in Canada, it's research programs that come with funding. What some of them do is that they go into a course-based program that also has a research program. Let me tell you what I mean. So let's say that you want to go and do chemical engineering masters. They have masters in chemical engineering course-based option. They have masters in chemical engineering research-based option. If you get admission into the research-based option, it will come with full funding. If you get admission into the course-based option, it doesn't come with funding. You have to fund yourself. So some people, if they have struggled and they are not able to get into the research-based program, they go and get admission. They apply for the course-based program and they get admission in the course-based program. When they come to Canada, it now means that you have to pay your school fees for your first term. When they come into the country, there they will now start approaching professors. You see all these professor emails that you are writing now. You don't need to write it again. You go and knock on their door and say, hello, Professor Stanley. My name is Zino and I'd like to work in your lab. And you pitch yourself to the professor. Now, most professors, they like to hire that way. You know why? Because many times when professors hire international students like that and they already have their research plan, because when professors get funding, sometimes their funding is only available for a year. Maybe say this funding, you must spend this funding for 1 year. If you don't finish it, you return the money. That's how funding works here. So when they have now hired these students, let's say they hire creamy creamy ones. No, let me use an easy name. They hire Omotayo. So when the professor hires Omotayo will not go and apply for visa. If Omotayo does not get that visa, the professor's research plan has flopped because he cannot quickly hire somebody else. Because he's waiting that Omotayo will come and resume in September. In August, Omotayo will not email him and say, Omotayo, don't worry, they will approve your visa. No, let me use another name. I don't want to use your name. So let's say that Samuel now applied, he did not get the visa. In August, when Samuel is supposed to resume school in September, in August, Samuel will now email the professor, professor, sorry, I did not get my visa. It's a problem. Like, the whole of their research plan has flopped. But if the student comes to their office and say, professor, I want to join your lab. If the professor has funding, they will take the one that they are seeing that is already inside the country because it eliminates all the visa application issues. Like, thinking about it, what ifs, all the what ifs, it just eliminates all the what ifs when it comes to visa application because the person is there. So they will not switch your program. You will not change from course-based to research-based, and then they will not give you the funding. So it works like that too. So this is another way that you can get scholarship after you have paid your tuition. But then, let's say that your course is for 2 years and you've resumed school in September. You have already paid school fees in September. That's when you now meet this professor. He will start funding you from the next term. That's like January. So you pay 1 term of school fees. Now, if you want to do this, it's possible you can do it. But let me tell you, you have to be smart. Make sure that there's always what if. What if you go now and you don't find the professor that will take you, right? Make sure that you have your school fees. That's the caveat here. How many years postgraduate work permit will I get for an 8-month program? You will not get years postgraduate work permit. You will get 8 months postgraduate work permit. If the medical tests show you are pregnant, is it possible for Canada Embassy to approve your visa? Of course, they would approve it. There are people that are pregnant that they approve their visas. And one thing that some people that are pregnant have done, talking from experience, people that have applied for visas with pregnancy, they just stated there in the application that they are pregnant. Nobody, I tell you, nobody will discriminate. It is discrimination for anybody to refuse you anything because you are pregnant. It's discrimination. And nobody wants to be associated with discrimination. So, as long as your application is properly done, even if you write that you are pregnant, they will not deny you because you are pregnant. If you come up front with the visa officer to say, I'm pregnant, now, you have now created one problem for yourself. This is why some people will get denied. It's not because they are pregnant. It's because they will not now show the visa officer that they have plans for when their babies are born. So if you come up front to your application and say, visa officer, I am pregnant, but you need to show the plans. What are your plans for when your baby is born? Because you will still be in school. You have to write a letter that would explain what plans you have for your baby after your baby is born so that you can still go to your school. Now, if you don't show this plan and they deny you, they have denied you on the grounds that you do not have a plan. It's not because you are pregnant. They are two different things. That's why. All right, guys. Today we spent so long. I didn't plan to stay this long. The doors to the Study Abroad Masterclass close really soon, right? So you want to be in that class. If you know that you want to move forward with your Study Abroad application, just come and join the Study Abroad Masterclass. You see the way I give myself, right? Yeah. Come and join the Study Abroad Masterclass, okay? And, yeah. Join before the deadline. Don't wait until the doors close. See, Study Abroad is a pathway to relocating abroad. That's how I came here. Today I'm a Canadian citizen, right? So you too can do the same. Send me a DM. Come and join the Study Abroad Masterclass. Okay? Do something nice with the people that you love, your family members, your friends. Do something nice. Have some fun. Okay? Problem not they finish for this life. All right, guys. Take care. Bye.